Good morning. It's the appointed time and we have a quorum. I call the meeting to order. There are two proposals today. Before the meeting, the administration has given us ECI 2026-27 number 2 for circulation. This paper sets out information on changes in the directorate establishment approved since 2026 and their impact on the establishment. I remind members that if there is any direct or indirect pecuniary interest with you and the items under discussion, please disclose the nature of the interest under Rule 83A of the Rules of Procedure before you speak. Also, members, please note the rules relating to voting on items with direct pecuniary interest under Rule 84 of the ROP. Item 1, EC bracket 2026-27 number 3. A proposal to create within 6 months from the date of approval by the Finance Committee one-time limited non-civil service directorate position designated as Associate Director General in Invest Hong Kong for 3 years to take forward a number of new tasks, including assisting Chinese Mainland enterprises to go global via Hong Kong and formulating preferential policy packages to attract high value-added industries and high potential enterprises to set up in Hong Kong, thereby promoting high-quality development. On the 17th of March this year, the administration consulted the panel on commerce, industry, innovation, and technology. We have with us from the Commerce and Economic Development Bureau, Undersecretary Dr. Bernard Chen. He's leading his team, and I'm not going to read out their names. Members, if you would like to speak on this item, please press the Request to Speak button. As Mr. Ng Chong, the chairperson of the panel, is not here, so I will quickly go through the points of deliberation by the panel. In a meeting on the 17th of March this year, the panel discussed about the proposed creation of a time-limited non-civil service position of Associate Director General under the Invest Hong Kong to take forward a number of new tasks, including assisting mainland enterprises to go global and formulate preferential policy packages to support the 15th five-year plan. Members supported referral of this item to our subcommittee. Members were concerned that the 3-year contract period might be too short. Hence, it would be difficult to attract a person of the right caliber and person who knows about the 15th five-year plan, the business culture of Hong Kong and mainland, as well as emerging industries to apply for the post. There was a suggestion that the employment terms should be improved, say, for example, extending the period, etc. Members also suggested that specific and measurable KPIs be set and a suggestion to make better use of Chambers of Commerce in Hong Kong, CPPCC members and overseas Chinese business to assist. Members has also suggested to the administration that they should enhance a follow-up of businesses that have come to Hong Kong. The administration has already responded to these issues. We'll now hear from Dr. Bernard Chen. Thank you. We ask members' support to create a time-limited non-civil service position equal to the rank of D2 as the Associate Director General to implement a number of new policies mentioned in the 2025 policy address. As mentioned, there was the Go Global Task Force set up to provide assistance. Invest Hong Kong plays an important role in the task force that they are in charge of liaising with mainland enterprises, in charge of organizing themed activities, acting as the secretariat of the task force, as well as coordination of their work. In order to assist enterprises to take root in Hong Kong, as well as the formulation of preferential packages, we have set up a steering committee. There is a preliminary framework put in place. We will formulate preferential packages to attract high potential enterprises to come to Hong Kong. There will also be assistance provided for them so that they will be able to set up businesses in Hong Kong. There are new performance indicators set out in the policy address. Altogether, 1,200 enterprises this year will be assisted to establish businesses here in Hong Kong. Currently, there are 3 associate director generals in Invest Hong Kong. The workload is already onerous. We propose to create a post of Associate Director General to take forward the work of assisting businesses to go global and the formulation of preferential policy packages. On the 17th of March, in relation to the proposed creation, we have consulted the panel. We have members support. I ask members to support our proposal. With your support, we will submit our funding proposal to the Finance Committee. Thank you. Now we have 10 members who have pressed the request to speak button. Mr. Bill Tang, Mr. Michael Ngai, Mr. Chen Chou Kwong, Mr. Chen Wing Kwong, Mr. Wu Yingpan, Mr. Brave Chen, Mr. Nick Chen, Mr. Lee Kwong Yu, Mr. Chilap Wai, and Ms. Carmen Kan. 4 minutes question and answers included. Mr. Bill Tang. Government departments and different quarters of Hong Kong, if we're all able to help with the 15th five-year plan and assist mainland enterprises to go global, is something that worth our support. You'll first attract mainland enterprises to come to Hong Kong. However, will you consider in detail the impact on individual trades? Say, for example, enter mainland enterprises from different regions or cities, say, for example, from the Yangtze River Delta or INT enterprises from Hefei. Would you consider gathering them in a particular location in Hong Kong? Yes, Hong Kong is small, but if there is proper planning, then you can create clusters of specific industries, say, for example, life technology enterprises in one location, or in another location, AI with enterprises from the Yangtze River Delta. And in relation to the preferential packages, does it include land? The Northern Metropolis is a long-term plan. A lot of enterprises can't wait till 2030. They would like to see instant assistance to help them. Are there currently any preferential packages to help them? I have a suggestion. Last year, I made a suggestion. The Energizing Kowloon East office worked with Invest Hong Kong. They have worked together to promote the advantages of the Kowloon East CBD. Perhaps you can shortlist or take certain enterprises from a certain region or from a certain industry to take route in Kowloon CBD, because this is a place where there is a large amount of quality grade A offices that are offered at affordable level. Honour Secretary, are you able to provide support in the areas mentioned by the member? Thank you. When it comes to attracting mainland enterprises to go global via Hong Kong, the Invest Hong Kong has done a lot of work. We organize industry theme-based promotion activities reaching to different provinces and different cities to attract businesses to come to Hong Kong. The Invest Hong Kong has endeavored to conduct studies of the different markets on the mainland to identify enterprises with high potential, bringing in huge benefits to come to Hong Kong. The Invest Hong Kong also acts as a relationship manager, providing after-sales service. interested mainland enterprises will be approached to negotiate preferential terms. These terms include land approval, tax concessions, etc. The Invest Hong Kong also takes into account the needs of the enterprises and formulate assistance packages before reporting to the Bureau. I've also mentioned about after-sales service. We provide customized services to assist these enterprises to set up businesses in Hong Kong, to deal with land issues as well as legal issues, so that the transition will be smooth for them. Thank you. Next, Mr. Michael Ngai. Thank you. I support the proposed creation of post, which is a time-limited and non-civil service position for 3 years to take forward tasks such as formulation of preferential policy packages. I don't think the work will end after 3 years. What is the chance of a continuation of the time-limited position? Will there be a continuation, a renewal of the contract post to make it in effect a permanent post? And there has been many posts that has been renewed many times, making them in effect a permanent one. Are there KPIs, say for example in terms of the number of businesses setting up in Hong Kong or the amount of investment? There should be an immediate review after 3 years. If these KPIs are not met, we need to take stock as to whether there will be a need for the post to be retained after 3 years. Thank you. Dr. Bernard Chan. We have adopted a financial prudence approach, hence the proposal to create a time-limited post for 3 years. At the end of this period, we will look at demand as well as relevant policy development. We'll also take stock of the overall structure and manpower need of Invest Hong Kong. We will make a decision when necessary. We don't rule the possibility of a renewal of the post. The member also asked about KPIs. As I said at the outset, that over the 2 years of 26 and 27, we have to attract at least 1,200 enterprises to set up businesses in Hong Kong. That includes mainland enterprises going global via Hong Kong. Of course, in the process of going global, we would like mainland enterprises to first establish a business in Hong Kong and then use our advantage to go global. We take into account the growth potential of mainland enterprises. They will make up a large share of our target groups. In 2025, we have attracted 560 mainland enterprises to come to Hong Kong. 289 of them came from the mainland, that is over half. Majority of them expressed an interest to go global via Hong Kong. The new Associate Director General will work with mainland enterprises that will set up base in Hong Kong. The work includes providing support. They will also take up a part of the trade promotional efforts of the department. Next, Mr. Chen Cho Kwong. The FS talked about cutting cost, but here I hear a lot about creation of posts. It seems weird, because on one hand, you talk about a reduction of cost. On the other hand, you increase cost by creating posts. If it is worth it, then we will support it. But now, you create a contract post that is directorate. Who will take account? Who will be the accountable party? The government has already created Oasis. And now we have this newly created associate DG. What is the division of labor?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, member, for the question. Under this administration, Invest Hong Kong has not increased any positions, but we have seen higher workload, for example, new scope of work, the North Metropolis and Go Global Task Force, etc. This work is very important to the economic growth of Hong Kong. To maintain the effectiveness of our work, we need to have more manpower. But when it comes to establishment, Invest Hong Kong increased 2 civil service positions, and in other CDB departments, we have cut the same number of positions. As you said, compared with other departments, including OASIS, we have a different mandate, and the OASIS will focus on flagship sectors, for example, biotech, fintech, advanced manufacturing, etc. We hope that we can attract more enterprises. Invest Hong Kong has different working groups covering different sectors. We hope that we can attract sectors of different sizes. The new position will be responsible for Go Global policy packages and also attracting enterprises for other sectors. Thank you, Chair. Next, Mr. Chen Wing-Kwong. Thank you, Chair. I'm fully supportive of the new position of ADG in Invest Hong Kong. Many Chinese medicine companies that I have been in touch with hope that they can go global through Hong Kong. We hope that we can benefit from the position of Hong Kong so mainland companies can go global through this hub. But I have a follow-up question. For different companies, they need different resources. For example, for TCM companies, they need marketing services, and they also need testing and accreditation services. So to the administration, how can you make sure that the advantages of Hong Kong's accreditation and testing industry can be used so we can offer professional testing and accreditation services to the mainland companies? So while helping them, we can also promote the brand of Hong Kong as a trademark. Many mainland companies go global through Hong Kong, but many mainland companies are not familiar with the procedures in Hong Kong, and they have simply no idea who they are looking for. Would it be Invest Hong Kong or HKTDC? So in the future, will you step up publicity work so they know that in Hong Kong we have a full package of supporting services when they're going global? And this position, on the other hand, is also helping mainland companies go global through Hong Kong. So this position must be familiar with the business operation in Hong Kong, and they must have knowledge of overseas business environment. Simply put, they're looking for business opportunities, and they also know how to do good business. And this is a D2 position, and the salary is at the D2 level. It's a time-limited position for only 3 years. Have you evaluated the criteria, and have you made sure that they are market competitive? Would it be possible for you to look for candidates from the market? Thank you. As you said, this candidate must be familiar with the business environment in China and overseas, and they must be familiar with the 15th five-year plan and relevant sectors. This is a D2 position. We offer attractive package. And this candidate, I believe, will not only consider the salary package, but the sense of achievement, the opportunity to serve Hong Kong and our country. These are also factors to take into account. They are an honor. And these factors could not be put on a price tag. So we are trying very hard to find the right candidates. As you said, testing and accreditation industries and other industries, mainland companies might encounter different problems when they are going global, hence different needs. So this is exactly the services available in the task force for going global. Hopefully we can connect them with different services. In 3 steps, number 1, we will have roadshows, promotional events, so we can attract mainland companies to Hong Kong. Invest Hong Kong and myself and Mr. Yao have conducted many promotional events so we can attract them to Hong Kong first, and then we can get them prepared. We encourage these mainland companies to set up different headquarters of different functions. For example, Treasury Center, e-commerce, R&D, or cross-border supply chain management center, intellectual property center, etc., so they can make full use of the advantages of Hong Kong while going global. Thirdly, by using Hong Kong's overseas network, these mainland companies can get in touch with overseas business opportunities so they can go global by setting up business there in other countries. Thank you. Next, Mr. Wu Yinpeng. Thank you, Chair. Invest Hong Kong has been working effectively in promoting business and attracting enterprises. Faced with the changing geopolitics, Invest Hong Kong is increasing the work of scope from 9 to 11 sectors, and now you have 34 overseas offices and consultant offices. So while helping mainland companies go global, this is huge workload. This is important work. That's why I support the opening of the new position. But I have a question on job division. I can see that in your organizational structure, the new ADG will be partially responsible for promotion of the Northern Metropolis. And at the same time, another ADG will be responsible for promotion of the Northern Metropolis as well. How do you make sure that these two positions are well coordinated to avoid overlap? A question about the job division between different posts. I'd like to invite the Director General to take the question. Chairman, since its inception, Invest Hong Kong has always maintained only one DG and 3 ADGs. So policy-wise, on top of Go Global Task Force and the Northern Metropolis and policy package, last year, after the policy address, this measures have been put into place. We hope that you can support the opening of the position. But before the position is formally established, we have started work already. Another ADG and myself are actively promoting the Northern Metropolis. We're working with the Development Bureau, led by CDB, and we're working closely with the Office for Northern Metropolis. Of course, with your support, if we can really have a new position, we will also restructure our scope of work, and currently other colleagues are just taking up this job. We are working hard, but we're happy with that. Next, Mr. Chen Yong. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Dr. Chen, and thank you, Ms. Lau. Now we are striving to promote economy, and we acknowledge the good work of Invest Hong Kong, and we support this new position. But I have some questions regarding the details. As you said, the candidate must have good knowledge about mainland China and the 15th five-year plan. I'm sure that the DG and ADG have such knowledge, but some candidates may not want to come to take up the job. So we hope that the expectation is more geared towards going global. We hope that these candidates can have more knowledge about overseas markets. So I suggest that this candidate should be somebody who has connection with overseas Chinese community or overseas consul general, for example. So this way, we hope that the candidates can focus on one specific area of knowledge. Secondly, back to page 7 of your document, you have only opened 2 new positions since 2014. This is for Invest Hong Kong, but for CDB, I suggest I don't see any increase and decrease of the job positions. If you can focus resources on the positions that need more resources, then probably the members of public will be more supportive. You need to cut the positions if necessary and increase new job positions if necessary, so we can see where you save money and resources and where you increased manpower. This is more aligned with the principle of cost effectiveness. So I'm wondering if this candidate can be more knowledgeable about overseas markets. It could be a civil servant, or it could be coming from external recruitment, helping mainland companies go global. But on top of going global, can we please also reserve some scope of work for this candidate for the northern metropolis and local economy? I believe this would be a better use of this position. It's about focusing resources on going global and also the streamlining of the organizational structure of the Bureau. Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the member for the suggestion. We will seriously consider the suggestion, and we will make the right choice. As I said, Go Global Task Force has 3 steps of work. Number 1, attracting mainland companies to Hong Kong, inviting them to set up regional headquarters. This will be impetus to the local economic growth. And the members also said something about our organizational structure. In other departments of our bureau, we have streamlined our structure, cutting manpower. So altogether, we have cut manpower. Given our financial position, all the other departments are doing the same job. As the member said, going forward, we will review our work, and we hope that we can effectively promote relevant lines of work. Thank you. Next, Mr. Nick Chan. Thank you, Chair. The Liberal Party supports the opening of the new position, time-limited non-civil servants position. And we commend the Secretary for the good work. I don't know if I'm able to say this. I bumped into the Secretary, and he was about to do a surgery, but he chose to finish his work before going back to the surgery room. This time, this new position is of very high importance, so our secretary can have more time for other important jobs. This new position is responsible for 2 important directions. We increased the number of industries we covered from 9 to 11. Regarding professional services, we don't have a breakdown of which services are outlined. For example, legal services. I know the Secretary is helping the legal industry go global as well. Well, if you look at the U.S. takes up 40% of total legal industry in the world. Given the geopolitical dynamics, we have some space for the business of mainland companies or Hong Kong companies. So in the future, hopefully we can have 13 subsectors or even more, not only legal industries, but more specific, detailed breakdown of industries. In the end, on top of the support from the Liberal Party, I suggest a long-term permanent post for this regard.
Under Secretary, I thank the member for the question. Well, in relation to a long-term plan, as I mentioned, we have adopted a prudent approach. At the end of the 3-year period, we will take stock of the situation. If necessary, we will take the next step forward. The member also mentioned about support to the legal sector. and a possibility of inviting more practitioners from the legal sector to be involved. Under the TDC, the Trade Development Council, there is a cross-discipline platform, Go Global Connect. A number of theme-based activities have been organized. We invite sometimes professionals to join our delegation. We want to provide a platform for mainland enterprises to test and get familiar with international practices so that they can perform their different functions and use Hong Kong services, say for example legal services as well as accreditation services. We will enhance communication and cooperation with the different professionals. Next, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Thank you. Hong Kong will have its first 5-year plan. There will be expedited development in different areas. The Invest Hong Kong has a huge responsibility. They assist mainland enterprises to go global, and they have to undertake promotional work. They have to attract 1,200 enterprises to come to Hong Kong. They have to attract 120 billion dollars in investments to come to Hong Kong. Under paragraph 5, we hear that the role of Invest Hong Kong is like a relationship manager. They provide assistance in terms of tax concession as well as other matters, land grant arrangements, financial subsidies, for example. They may not be able to come up with tailor-made, new and better terms for mainland enterprises. They only provide basic information of what's available in Hong Kong. And that applies to, in particular, startups, say for example, drone businesses. It's not that they don't know about available packages, it's just that there are not new ones. So the functions of Invest Hong Kong may be limited. Perhaps there can be new KPIs. Say, for example, in addition to the 1,200 enterprises, there will be KPIs on businesses that have stayed in Hong Kong and as well as their satisfaction level. It won't be healthy if we have new businesses coming to Hong Kong at the same time when others are leaving. The question is about preferential packages as well as KPIs, including number of businesses staying in Hong Kong. I will first take the question. Invest Hong Kong offers after-sales service. After businesses have set up businesses here, we provide a one-stop service to get enterprises to stay and make contributions to our economy. I'll see if the Director General has anything to add. Ms. Lau. The member talked about briefing sessions by Invest Hong Kong to startups. Yes, that's the majority of our work in the past. We have a team for startups. With the strong support of the Chief Executive, we have cooperation mechanism and preferential packages. We will make allocation of resources to different enterprises. For growing enterprises, we act as a relationship manager. So you only need to approach one party to identify new available services. With the support of different department policy bureaus, Invest Hong Kong organizes task forces as relationship manager to help enterprises to reach relevant departments and bureaus. In addition to explaining about policies, helping enterprises to go through procedures and formalities, we also make suggestions to policy bureaus to get more preferential treatment. If some enterprises would like to get more tailor-made services, then they can talk to us. Of course, we adopt the approach of an incubator as well as ecosystems when we take forward our work. Next, Mr. Chu Lap Wai. Other members have talked about the recognition of the work of Invest Hong Kong. As I said in the panel meeting, I support the proposed creation. Last time, we asked about KPI. The administration said that there was no KPIs for the post. The KPIs are for Invest Hong Kong. But we're talking about an expenditure of over 23 million a year. Helping enterprises to go global and preferential packages are important areas in the policy address. There is no specific KPI for the post, but will you be able to tell us that KPIs be set for the new post? The Undersecretary said that if the work is well delivered, then there may be a chance of a renewal. Can please give us more information? The post also assisted the FS to provide services in the Steering Committee on Preferential Policies. Can you give us more information? KPI, say for example, the number of businesses staying in Hong Kong, will you consider along the lines like that? Ms. Lau? We announced the number of enterprises that come to Hong Kong every year. We have exceeded our KPI set for the previous 3 years. The new one is 1,200 enterprises in 2 years, which is a marked increase. We want to make use of different platforms to achieve that. We have already started our work. In relation to enterprises staying, we work with the Census and Statistics Department on the number of enterprises that are regional headquarters or non-Hong Kong-based companies. Last year, over 11,000 enterprises, they are non-local enterprises that are in Hong Kong. That's our stock. Invest Hong Kong will bring in new enterprises. In the past few years, both existing companies and new companies are on the increase from different places in the world, say the US and Europe, and in particular, mainland China. The KPIs. There is an overall KPI for Invest Hong Kong, and there will be an allocation to individual posts. Every relationship manager will have KPIs to meet. It's just that the workload for existing posts is heavy. It's just that they will be now shared by the new post. There is a steering committee, which is a new party led by the financial secretary. We will report to the panel in relation to the work relating to the support to the financial secretary. There are subsidies available under different policy bureaus, say for example the ITIB. We will promote these measures to our clients to help them settle in Hong Kong. Mostly they are needed by small and medium enterprises. Thank you. Next, Ms. Carmen Kan. Thank you. I strongly support the Go Global Task Force. My proposal to the policy address in the past 2 years talked about getting mainland enterprises to go global via Hong Kong. I'm glad to see the heading before paragraph 5 that, there is an emphasis of enterprises going global via Hong Kong. When I talk to relevant parties, I learned that they would like to use Hong Kong to manage their risks. Going global via Hong Kong is a very useful strategy for them. You need to promote to mainland enterprises that going through Hong Kong is effective. Say, for example, Hong Kong can act as a green channel. You need to tell the commissions and ministries of mainland China that they only need to go via Hong Kong and do it once instead of going about it in a roundabout way. I thank the Director General for her hard work. She has rich experience in business as well as finance. I'm not worried about her delivery of her duties. If there is sufficient resources, I'll be confident. Do you need to continue to tell good stories of Hong Kong? Treasury Center. Hong Kong being a treasury center is very important to mainland enterprises. We can manage the assets for them, but we need to help them with capital flow. We have traditional advantages in the forms of a low tax regime, an open economy, etc. We need to tell them about new advantages. Information about legislative changes should be given to mainland enterprises as well. I very much like the idea of a relationship manager. We have specialists in specific areas, save lives, science. These are the work of the existing posts. But now there is a new one. How do you make sure that there will be synergy? Thank you. A green channel, treasury center. I think a lot of members like the idea of relationship manager. Thank you. The work of the Go Global Task Force. We work with the Mainland and Macau office as well as the Ministry of Commerce in the selection of which enterprise to provide assistance to. We work with government departments of different cities and provincial and provinces, and we liaise with different parties. Invest Hong Kong has stage roadshows as well as promotional activities in different places. When it comes to formulating preferential packages, we will first identify the suitable enterprises. The member also mentioned about the new post. Of course, we will endeavor to create synergy. I don't think the Undersecretary understand what I said about a green channel. Can I hear more from him? Shall we hear from the Undersecretary or someone else about the green channel? That means when it comes to ODI, you only have to go through the formalities once. The member talked about the Treasury Center and new policies. These are very important. We have traditional advantages, say for example, our legal services and low tax regime. Of course, we need to promote them. There will be legislative enhancements when it comes to Treasury Center, Family Office, Gold Trade Platform, and sustainable aviation fuel. We have preferential policies in the pipeline. We will promote these preferential packages to major enterprises because they will be showcase examples. We also work to make suggestions to departments. There is a new committee or commission set up relating to treasury centers. We work with the FSTB and the CEDB to promote to enterprises as to how to make use of Hong Kong as a treasury center to reduce risk. Say, for example, using Hong Kong to store your assets and capital may be better in reducing risk to avoid sanctions. And as to financing IPOs, there may not be restrictions on the location, but if there are restrictions, say for example when it comes to trade, the formalities may be simpler for small and medium enterprises. For larger enterprises, say for example going to set up businesses in Hungary via Spain, where there are less restrictions, we give the information to mainland ministries and commissions. Sometimes when they place capital in Hong Kong, in itself is a vetting. There may not be an instant approval, but the process will be smoother. If you use Hong Kong to go global, the ODR is faster than doing the process in Singapore.
This is a very important news. Thank you, DG. Next, Mr. Alan Chen. Thank you, Chair. I support the initiative by CEDB and Invest Hong Kong, and also the opening of this new post. I have a few questions. First, on the need of the position. Now we are expanding the northern metropolis. We need enterprises to set up their business in the northern metropolis. Otherwise, we're losing time and resources. Secondly, I commend their efforts that the KPI for 1,200 companies and 12,000 posts, this is an appropriate one. I hope the government doesn't look for retired colleagues within the administration or looking for candidates in the administration, because this is for external communication. We hope that you can inject new blood, introducing different candidates for non-civil service positions. As we are talking about going global with the mainland companies, the candidates should have good knowledge about the mainland. Now we're working on the commodities and energy market. We hope that we can have more bargaining power when it comes to energy markets for our country, and we're talking with Islamic countries, so the candidate should be familiar with the Islamic markets and Indonesia, Malaysia, etc. So we hope that we can recruit a candidate from outside the civil servants force. And as Mr. Chen said, is the salary package not satisfactory? I'm not sure if you can look for a candidate within the private market if the salary is at that level. But now we have the secretary and the DG are also working at a much lower salary package. And I believe we can still find a candidate at this level. But my concern is that the 3-year time limit might be too short. Perhaps we can give them another a different package, like 3 years plus 2 years. If they're not happy with that, they can choose not to extend the contract. As for the candidacy, I hope we can look for someone with experience of contacting overseas Chinese community or people with CPPCC background. Is there any chance that we can recruit some candidates with that background and relevant experience? Secretary, please. Thank you, Chair, and thank you to the member for the question. Regarding business promotion for the Northern Metropolis, we're working more closely with other departments in Northern Metropolis to INT, ecosystem, ecotourism, and green industry. We will promote business and attract more enterprises. We hope that we can promote the Northern Metropolis overseas, and we're also in communication with the enterprises ready to set up business in the Northern Metropolis. We have invited companies from engineering, mechanics, building material, biomedical industry, etc. These are all top-tier companies. We invite them for a site visit to the Northern Metropolis so they can evaluate the potential of that area. And as for the candidates and the time limit, we will continue to evaluate our need, and if the term has elapsed, we will review different options to extend the contract 3+2 or other options. Thank you. Next, Mr. Yu Pale. Thank you, Chair. I commend Invest Hong Kong for their hard work. I can see that Ms. Lau, the secretary, has been very busy, and we can see that the office has achieved a lot. And I was wondering why a D2 position for this Director General. And later, after some thought, I believe it's necessary. And for Director General or ADG, they're all working as relationship managers, as it says. So I agree on the direction of setting up this position. If we really need to support mainland companies in their going global, I believe we should do that, because this is to make full use of Hong Kong's position. Most importantly, we need to offer preferential policy package. We need to offer good services. As for candidates, I believe all members here in this room agree with the opening of the position. As for the attractiveness of the policy package, as Carmen Kan said, we need to establish Hong Kong as a hub for many companies in their process of going global. This is an important role of Hong Kong. Well, I'd like to learn more about that. As the Deputy Secretary said, for the Northern Metropolis, on top of INT, you will also work on ecotourism, cultural tourism, etc. Because going global with cultural industry is also an important scope of work. Have you looked into this area? Any support to cultural enterprises in going global? Well, I'd like to respond to the first question first. As for the preferential policy package, this is a tailor-made policy package. Different enterprises have different needs in their process of going global or the development of their business. So, as regarding land grants, tax services, and other supporting services, we have different packages. And the decision-making process will be conducted by the steering committee headed by the Financial Secretary. Director General, well, I'd like to talk more about the cross-industry services. As Carmen Kan said, we will not be product managers. In Invest Hong Kong, our colleagues, including ADG and other departments, these candidates are serving different industries based on their own specialization. but faced with some enterprises, industry enterprises, we're not helping them with just one individual. Our ADG is also working as a relationship manager for different industries, and sometimes we need the help of other government departments and bureau as well. As for the Northern Metropolis, yes, we know it's more than 4 industries. Yes, we're making a lot of efforts to improve on INT because we're talking about advanced manufacturing in the area like Hongshui Q. But for cultural tourism and consumer industries, yes, we have other colleagues promoting these advantages in the North Metropolis and also in the Sky City around the airport. In the easternmost area in the Northern Metropolis, we are working with the Development Bureau in business promotion. But if we started too early, after 5 years, things would change and the customers may not listen to us, but we will work on that. Next, Mr. Chen Po-chi. In 2026, in 2027, it says that the Invest Hong Kong will attract 1,200 companies in setting up business in Hong Kong. Now we're in mid-May 2026. Can you please brief us on the status quo? How many mainland companies have set up their business in Hong Kong, and how many of them are fully prepared for going global? Is there any company related to seed industry? Any latest numbers? Director General, please. I can share that by the end of April, we don't have the statistics for May. According to the policy address, this year we need to attract 600 companies by the end of April. We have already attracted over 300 companies and invited them to set up business in Hong Kong. And 180 companies came from the mainland, 50%. They hope that Hong Kong can work as a platform, providing financial services or management services. This is something that all the mainland companies have in common. And some companies also want to set up an R&D center or some production facilities in Hong Kong, because here we have a free flow of information, and this is the limitation in mainland China. If they work with local universities in Hong Kong, they can commercialize their research projects in overseas markets. And I believe you're talking about startups for seed and plantation industry. Are you talking about the fishery, agriculture industry? Yes, agriculture. Invest Hong Kong doesn't have a specific number for that, but we have 2 teams, INT and food industries. We're working together in this area. We have agri-tech, advanced agriculture, and we know that some companies need supporting services in this regard, especially those coming from the Middle East. And given the war going on in the Middle East, things have slowed down, but we are helping them promote their business. We have another team specialized for sustainable development, and it's working with the Environment Bureau and FCD. So we can probably bring in companies from the mainland China for testing and accreditation services before they go global. Thank you. Next, Ms. Elizabeth Kwat.
I speak in support of the proposed creation. This is Hong Kong's task. We have to play the role of superconnector and value adder. We need to assist quality mainland enterprises to go global via Hong Kong. The work is onerous. I'm from the INT sector. We get to know more and more about mainland enterprises relating to INT as well as a low altitude economy. They are interested in coming to Hong Kong. Hong Kong helps them with preparation of IPO, assist them in using Hong Kong as a regional headquarters as well as pilot manufacturing. There is another area that is of concern to them, that is alignment with the international standards. For some industries, there is a difference between mainland standards and international standards. Hong Kong has a role to play in this regard. I know that Invest Hong Kong is in charge of carrying out work in this regard in relation to different industries. But I'd like to ask, is there a dedicated team? You are the relationship manager. You need to be able to tell them what standards that they need to align with if they want to go global. When it comes to assisting enterprises to go global via Hong Kong, we are on the offensive to reach out to them, to attract them to come to Hong Kong, to get them to set up a base in Hong Kong, and then they will invest in Hong Kong before they go global. This is a model tried out, and we think it's a good one. Just now, the Undersecretary talked about identifying mainland enterprises before reaching out to them to help them go global. That's a different approach. We work with the Ministry of Commerce as well as the NRDC to help enterprises to go global. Is this area covered by you as well? Do we need to work with you, or do we just do our work separately? Undersecretary, I thank the member for her question. In relation to testing and accreditation, we have a platform that is cross-discipline under the Trade Development Council. Testing and accreditation is one area, so there is a team of professionals providing services to mainland enterprises. There are different tiers of work under the Go Global Task Force. We liaise with the Hong Kong Macau office as well as the Ministry of Commerce. That's one tier. Invest Hong Kong and mainland offices have a close liaison with mainland counterparts. They also work with associations, chambers of commerce, as well as semi-governmental organizations. We want to make use of ties in the trade on the mainland so that we can create a synergy to maximize the effectiveness of our work. We tap into different networks to do our work. Before we hear from the next member, let me manage our time. There are 3 members who have pressed the button waiting to speak. Those who would like to speak, please give an indication as soon as possible before we put the item to vote. Next, Ms. Judy Chen. I thank the administration and the team for the work in attracting investments and businesses. I would like to ask about something said in paragraph 10. It says that they will have to attract at least 1,200 mainland and overseas enterprises to set up or expand businesses in Hong Kong, bringing in direct investment of 120 billion, creating at least 12,000 jobs. The figures are quite neat. Have you just worked out the average, or are they the actual figures? How did you arrive at these figures? My second question. There is a huge opportunity for us, that is aerospace economy. We've heard about some unhappy news at the beginning of the year. There are some satellite companies owing rents, and they've even sued the science park. How do you ensure that these enterprises have a robust finance and that they will not create trouble for Hong Kong? It's about gatekeeping. Under Secretary, we have two important parties under the task force. They are the TDC and Invest Hong Kong. They are both very experienced when it comes to attracting enterprises and investments. They will look at the business proposals. They can also consider the track record and goodwill of the enterprises from the place of origin, in the place of origin. They will also look at relevant rules and regulations relating to businesses. Of course, the enterprises will have to make sure that their business conforms with the rules and regulations of Hong Kong and where they do business. In relation to the indicators of 1,200 enterprises bringing in a certain amount of investments and jobs, we are very confident in achieving these indicators. What about gatekeeping? As I've said, Invest Hong Kong and the TDC will do the gatekeeping work when it comes to attracting enterprises. They will look at their business record as well as their reputation. There are still 3 members waiting to speak. I will draw a line here. Mr. Tang Fei, I have some suggestions. I don't need an answer. First, helping quality mainland enterprises to go global. Perhaps that should include education institutions and enterprises in Hong Kong. There are quite a number of sizable organizations. Some have already listed in the US or have branches in Hong Kong. On the face of it, they may be service industries without a high technical content, but that is not the case. Our country is strongly promoting digital education. So a lot of these enterprises use technology to assist in the delivery of their services. In Hong Kong, education is seen as a public industry for the benefit of Hong Kong as a whole instead of an industry. But that is not the case on the mainland. I do agree with the creation of a non-civil service post to assist. Helping enterprises to go global is not purely a business move. There are also security considerations. Well, there is an incident with an enterprise. When several years ago there was Ant Finance going to be listed in the US and in Hong Kong, but that was stopped. Will the post holder have the sensitivity to detect security. First, the suggestion about covering the education industry, and secondly is about sensitivity. We welcome mainland enterprises from different industries to go global via Hong Kong. That includes ed tech as well as education industries. We see rapid development in these industries. We'll see if there is any opportunities for cooperation. The Go Global Task Force is a cross-department, cross-sectoral. Members include different government departments. If need be, we will consult relevant departments and professional bodies. We talked to the Ministry of Commerce and Hong Kong Mainland Office to identify suitable enterprises to go global. We'll familiarize ourselves with these enterprises. Thank you. Ms. Nixie Lam. A number of members have talked about the main duties of the post, but different investors have different preferences. Say from UAE or Saudi Arabia, they would like investors prefer semiconductors because that's a form of diversification of investment from oil. We have a very sound legal system, and the manufacturing chain in Guangdong is quite good. So if we can work together, it will be a very attractive package. Given the potential of this area, will you set goals in this regard? I talked to parties from the Middle East. I talked to them about North Metropolis. They said that they were interested in semiconductor and asked me for information. Perhaps when you formulate new KPIs, you can cover these two advantages as well. This will benefit Hong Kong and the mainland. When it comes to working together, it's not just about working as a team. We need to find ways so that both parties will benefit. This is a very specific suggestion. Any reply from the Undersecretary? Thank you. A part of the duty of the Go Global Task Force is to conduct market survey and studies on, say, Central Asia or Middle East, as well as the demands for different industries. The member has made some good suggestions in Kazakhstan and other countries in the Middle East regarding agricultural processing, infrastructure. The industries are doing quite well. And we can help to match business opportunities. ASEAN is another growth area. There are countries in ASEAN countries are doing quite well when it comes to, say, new energy. We will conduct matching activities on different areas.
Last speaker, Ms. Eunice Ho. Mr. Chair, business is the bloodline for Hong Kong, lifeline of Hong Kong, and so is financial industry. Now we have increased the number of positions to 40 in Invest Hong Kong, and they have over 30 offices overseas, according to the document. If that's the case, Invest Hong Kong offices and ETOs using the same offices. If that's the case, then no problem for me. What about HKTDC? HKTDC is a quasi-official institution with 40 to 50 offices overseas. Is there any coordination between them so we can avoid duplication of work? Are they compatible? And my third question is, given that the number of areas of work has been increased from 9 to 11, but these areas of work are given different titles than before. Of course, you can submit documents on the specific structure. Now we have increased the number from 9 to 11 with different names. What about the terms of reference? In the future, given that this is a time-limited 3-year limit position, if you can provide more information, we can have a clear picture. Well, let me respond to the first two questions, and the DG will respond to the last question. ETOs in mainland China or in overseas, they all have a task force for business promotion and talent attraction, and they will be responsible for getting in touch with local companies and market research, etc. Invest Hong Kong, HKTDC, and ETOs will coordinate in a better way. As the paper says, these three institutions will work as a trail to work for local companies and overseas companies. And Invest Hong Kong and ETO will work together to tell good stories of Hong Kong, helping companies go global, and at the same time attracting local companies in overseas markets to set up business in Hong Kong. DG, please. I want to make a clarification. In the document, on page 3, the number for areas of work has been increased from 9 to 11. This is not about the increase this year, but from the inception of the Invest Hong Kong. If you look at our website, investhongkong.hk, and you can see the details of the organization structure, but I can provide with some details later. Well, I want to clarify this point with Dr. Chen. Yes, I know that working together to tell good stories of Hong Kong, but two bodies, Invest Hong Kong and ETO, they are sharing the office spaces, not in separate spaces. Yes, they're sharing office spaces. 19 members have taken the floor. I believe both the Secretary and the Director General have heard these comments, which are very constructive. Most importantly, most of the comments are focused on the role of this new position in helping companies go global. We know there should be clearer delineation of responsibilities, but most importantly, they are supporting the Go Global task forces. I will now put this motion to the vote. Members who are in favor of the motion EC 2026 and 27.3, please raise your hand. Thank you. Members who are against the motion, please raise your hands. I think the majority of the members voting are in favor of the motion. The motion is agreed to. Regarding the recommendation for the Finance Committee to further discuss this document, now I will put this to a vote. According to 40A of the Rules of Procedure of the Subcommittee, I now put this to vote. The Subcommittee recommends the Finance Committee to further discuss the proposal approved by the Subcommittee as contained in EC 2026-27.3. I remind members that if this motion is agreed to, it means that the Subcommittee recommends the Finance Committee to further discuss this paper. If it's negative, it means that the subcommittee does not so recommend. Members who are in favor of the motion, please raise your hands. Members who are against the motion, please raise your hands. I think the majority of the members voting are against the motion. The motion is negative. The subcommittee does not recommend the Finance Committee to further discuss EC bracket 2026-27(3). Now we will move to agenda item 2, EC bracket 2026-27(4). Proposed retention of one time-limited directorate post in the Transport Department at Directorate Pay Scale .1 to take effect from the 2nd of July 2026 or the date of approval by the Finance Committee, whichever is later, until the 1st of July 2031 to accelerate the development of autonomous vehicles and the application of bus technology. The administration consulted the Legislative Panel on Transport on this proposal on 20th March 2026. Public officers attending the meeting to answer members' inquiries include Ms. Winnie Tse, Commissioner for Transport, and other officers whose names are outlined on the paper. Now, I invite members who wish to speak on this item to press the Request to Speak button. Mr. Chang Hanben, Chairman of the Panel on Transport, is not a member of the subcommittee and not present. I will briefly summarize the key points of the panel discussion based on the information prepared by the committee secretariat. The panel on transport discussed at its meeting on 20th March the administration's proposal to retain one CEME time limited post in the Transport Department. Members supported the administration submitting the proposal to the Establishment Subcommittee for deliberation. Members were concerned about the specific work targets for the post within the 5-year retention period. Some members were concerned that promoting the development of AV and the application of bus technology are long-term and continuous, and therefore they should apply to establish a permanent post. Some members are also concerned about the impact of AV development on professional drivers and suggested that the administration adopted balanced measures and a gradual approach when promoting autonomous vehicle development, such as providing skills upgrading training for professional drivers to assist drivers in need to transition. The administration responded to the views and concerns raised by members at the meeting. Now I will invite Commissioner for Transport, Ms. Winnie Tse, to brief the subcommittee. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, members. Now, we suggest the retention of the time-limited directorial post in the Transport Department. It's a Chief Electrical and Mechanical Engineer. This is for autonomous driving and bus technology. It's a D Directorate Pay Scale .1 position. It will promote the technology of AV and industry development, and secondly, it will promote the development of bus technology. This time-limited post was approved by the Finance Committee on the 2nd of July, and the duration will continue until the 1st of July 2026. And this position will continue to supervise and promote the use of autonomous vehicles and bus technology. So we suggest the retention of this position for 5 years. I will now briefly talk about the development of autonomous vehicles. With policy support, regulatory backing, and financial subsidy, we have actively promoting the development of AV in Hong Kong in an orderly manner. To facilitate the development of autonomous driving technology, the government completed the legislative amendments to the Road Traffic Ordinance in May 2023 and formulated Road Traffic Autonomous Vehicles Regulation in January 2024. The new regulatory framework for AVs came into effect in March 2024. Concurrently, TD published the Code for Practice for Trial and Pilot Use of Autonomous Vehicles. The new regulatory framework has come into effect, and we have issued new licenses for trials and autonomous vehicles at different locations. Today, the paper also outlined the details. Earlier, Transport and Logistics Bureau published the Transport Strategy Blueprint, and the government will promote the operation of autonomous vehicle, and the administration will be a facilitator, including a safe and orderly use of autonomous vehicles across different districts connected with other transportation means, and even cross-border use of autonomous vehicles. Recently, the task force for the use and trial of autonomous vehicles has been put together by the Commissioner for Transport, offering support so the autonomous vehicles can be commercialized. And we have made arrangements for license application. The working group will provide advice and guidance, hoping that the autonomous vehicle technology can be accelerated so that we can transition from research and development to actual application. And the retention of the CEME position for autonomous vehicle and bus technology will be responsible for coordinating and supervising the lines of work concerning autonomous vehicle, as I mentioned, and this position will also provide professional support. On the area of bus technology, we hope that this engineer position will make full use of innovative technology and review safety standards, adopting new technology, hoping to improve on the use of technology for buses, reliability and performance. Mr. Chair, as we said, in March 2026, we have consulted a panel on transport on this proposal, where we received unanimous support from the members. We suggested retention of this position for 5 years, from 2nd of July this year to the 1st of July 2031. This position has been already included in the establishment, so the retention of this position will not increase the number of positions in civil service establishment. I am now ready to take your questions. Thank you, Commissioner. Now I will read out the names of the members wishing to speak: Mr. Evan Lee, Mr. Lothier Lam, Mr. Kingsley Wong, Mr. Wu Yinpeng, Ms. Judy Chan, Mr. Deng Gapiu. 4 minutes for questions and answers. Mr. Evan Lee, please. I speak in support of the retention of this CEME post. The Commissioner briefed us on the work on autonomous vehicle, which is good. I have 2 questions. Number 1, on the job division between CEME and Safety Director. So this position is supposed to offer professional assistance to Safety Director. I refer to the minutes of the meeting in March. The 3 directorial posts, the duration for Safety Director will elapse in the end of the year. So I'm wondering, the position of Safety Director will lapse in the end of this year. Is that the case? Given that position, who will this CEME report to? Does it mean that the CEME will also take up the work of the Safety Director? My second question is regarding the technology of cross-border autonomous vehicle. And in paragraph 7, the government vows to study the possibility of a cross-border autonomous vehicle for Hong Kong to Macau Bridge. So I'd like to know more about the job of CEME SME in this area? Will he formulate the technology standards? Will they coordinate the certification of vehicles across 3 cities? And regarding the cross-border trial of autonomous vehicles in 2026, what's the scope of the research, and is the engineer responsible for the project, and what is this position's targets?
The arrangement relating to the safety director as well as the role when it comes to cross-boundary trial. In relation to cross-boundary projects, our plan is to launch a project in the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. There is an established mechanism enabling a liaison. There is a tripartite working group relating to the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. We can consult authorities on the mainland and Macau in relation to legal requirements, data, vehicle structure. Whether it is cross-district in Hong Kong or cross-boundary, our priority is safety. We also need to take into account the developing technologies and the application. The member talked about the key areas that the post will look into. We have to take into account data as well as legal requirements. In January 2026, there was a working group meeting. Our aim is to start in 2026 and 27 working group meeting. The plan is to enable actual application in 2028 in the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Thank you. Next, Mr. Lovech Lam. I support the proposal. I have a question. One of the duties of the post is to supervise autonomous vehicles. There are a number of pilot projects in West Kowloon as well as airport. There are different application scenarios. The transport strategy blueprint talked about a multi-scenario applications in the North Metropolis that covers cross-boundary tests. Just now, the Commissioner talked about cross-boundary passenger carrying service. I am more concerned about cargo service. How will you liaise with the transportation sector? Cross-boundary logistics is mainly about goods, as stated in the blueprint. How do you ensure that AVs will be used in this regard? Let's listen to the Commissioner. I thank the member for the question. Cross-boundary logistics is something that we plan to work on. Cross-boundary autonomous vehicles is one area. Cargo is a subsector. I talked about using the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge. Whether it is passenger carrying or cargoes or goods, these involve a design of vehicles, data, rules and regulations. We need to work out the alignment. Regarding logistics, it is market-driven. Factors such as road condition, types of goods, say for example, whether it's type of goods that require temperature control, all these factors have an impact. These factors are in place, whether it is autonomous, whether it involves autonomous vehicles or not. We will liaise with operators. The proposed post to be retained, not just supervise existing projects. There are interested companies whether they're passenger carrying or logistics have asked us questions. We asked them what their interests are. We give them ideas. Of course, they will have to decide whether the model is suitable for them, but we do promotional work. Thank you. Next, Mr. Kingsley Wong. In principle, I support the proposed retention of the post. I have a number of points to make. First, application of bus technology. It talks about an advanced driver assistance system to ensure safety. And there is a requirement that in the second quarter, newly procured buses will have to have the driver monitoring system installed. This is not just about technology, but about the practitioners as well. You need to ensure that there is a proper communications between the staff union and the operators. The system will detect drowsiness on the part of drivers. I wonder whether the system will be used to dock pay from drivers. We don't want the new requirement to put undue pressure on drivers. Have you talked to staff union? Have you talked to drivers? We don't want other issues to arise because of the new requirement. You promote the development of AVs. You talk about in the document using remote control operators instead of in-person backup operators. Well, we've heard about incidents when autonomous vehicles has stopped operating and caused congestions. Do you have any contingency plans in place? Because without an onboard backup operators, how do you ensure that the AVs broken down will move to the side to avoid causing a congestion? Have you learned from incidents in nearby areas involving autonomous vehicles? Have you put in place contingency plans? So these questions are about the application of bus technology. I'll need to defer to Mr. Chung about specific areas. Driverless operation and its impact on safety on the road users, drivers, passengers on board is something that we are concerned about. Convenience is important, but safety is more important. All road users are affected by AVs. Mr. Wong mentioned about congestions caused by an AV broken down on the mainland. We are parties to pilot projects on the mainland. In view of the incident, we ask operators to disclose as much information as possible. Say, for example, what happened and what they have learned from the incident. We want to learn from the incident. The roads in Hong Kong are narrower and more congested. We do have contingency plans in place. Say for example, poor internet connection causing a halt in the system. We need to stop the vehicle as soon as possible, and these are all incorporated in our pilot projects. Anything to add from Mr. Wong? Bus drivers. I think the use of technology is to ensure safety. In short, the technology is to ensure safety for the bus driver. When a bus driver is yawning or is drowsy, will there be any prompt given to the drivers? I'm sure that there has been discussions with bus drivers as well as staff unions. Next, Mr. Wu Yingpeng. The promotion of AV as well as the application of bus technology is something that the government is working on. I recognize that. Smart transport is the general direction. I support the proposal. Paragraph 19 of the paper talks about support of 33 non-directorate posts, including motor engineers as well as repair staff members. I want to ask if there is sufficient personnel with information technology and software knowledge to provide the necessary support. Commissioner, this is a very good suggestion. There is rapid development with autonomous vehicles. In the past 2-3 years, the focus was on putting in place an effective framework, say, for example, in terms of rules and regulations. We have introduced legislative amendments and formulated a code of practice. At the end of last year and the beginning of this year, we have issued a number of pilot licenses. Every month, we ask operators of pilot projects to provide us with reports of the trial as well as relevant data. We need non-directorate staff members to verify the information in the information supplied. These may not cover matters relating to big data and AI. We estimate that there will be more and more pilot projects. There are local R&D enterprises and mainland enterprises making inquiries. So we do believe that there will be a need to use big data. The mainland is adept in using data. we need to align the data from the mainland with that in Hong Kong. Do we need additional manpower support? That is possible. We will play by ear. If need be, we will come to get your support to get additional resources.
Thank you. Next, Ms. Judy Chen. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. Paragraph 16 says that the government will steadily promote the use of AV and make sure it reaches level 5 of the national standard. According to what I know, Hong Kong is still at level 0, and level 1 means assisted driving, and level 5 means fully autonomous. So to the Commissioner, given that the position is a time-limited post for 5 years, what's the target for autonomous driving level when this position lapses in 5 years? As you said, many companies have sent inquiries, and recently I visited a company to attend the opening ceremony. They invested in electric minibuses, but the paper is silent on the arrangement for minibuses. It's only about buses. I know that the new electric minibuses will cost over $1 million per piece, and the warranty period is only 5 years. If there would be new projects for autonomous driving in 5 years, then is it reasonable for these minibuses to have autonomous driving as well? Have you been in touch with companies, because it's huge investment? Thirdly, members of public can feel the existence of autonomous vehicles, for example, street cleaners and other vehicles on the road, and will they able to see the roadmap of the development of autonomous vehicles? Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Ms. Chen, for the question. We have a few pilot and trial projects where the level for autonomous driving has reached level 4. In some projects, there is still an operator, like a standby driver, in the car in case they need to step in and take over if necessary, and there is also a remote operator, but we are still advancing towards fully autonomous vehicles, and this level is level 4 already. Regarding the question on minibuses, our plan is that in different scenarios, for example, in the trial and pilot plans, where point-to-point transportation is necessary and where the vehicles are running on the road where there is less traffic, or where there are roundabouts, or there are more complex structures like 3 roundabouts, so these vehicles can be put to a stress test, and there are trial projects with cross-border transportation, for example, from Tongchong to downtown area, where they need to connect with other public transportation means. For minibuses, probably have heard about the trial projects of minibuses in West Kowloon Cultural District. Previously, the trial projects were minibuses without passengers, and now they are with passengers. The vehicles are private vehicles, public minibuses, or, as Mr. Lan said, they are cargo vehicles, or they are traveling across tunnels or in roundabouts, so we have different scenarios. Now we still have 2 members wishing to speak. Well, for those who wish to speak but do not have a chance, please press the button immediately because I need to take care of time management. Mr. Tang Ka-piu. Thank you, Chair. I agree on the proposal for retention of the post. This post concerns innovation, technology, and also the use of green energy in double-deck buses. There are some breakthroughs to be made given the high use of double-decker buses in Hong Kong. If we can use new energy rather than diesel energy, I believe we will set a good example to the world. So I trust that the government needs to retain this position and do something great, because this is about using new energy for double-decker buses, which is a lofty target. And the mandate of this position is not only about day-to-day operation, but something in the long term. When it comes to autonomous driving, Kowloon East and Kwun Tong were the trial areas, and we know that there is a trial project going on from Kowloon Bay to Kwun Tong. I'd like to have more information on this trial projects, because we're talking about very busy traffic, very busy roads, a lot of traffic. Were there any accidents? Regarding bus technology, I believe something that we need to deal with is the design of safety belts. In minibuses, it's across the waist, and for double-decker buses, the safety belts were in different design. It's crossbody, but it aroused disputes in the public. So what about the design of safety belts? Thank you, Chair. Thank you to Mr. Dan for the question. As for the trial tests in Kwun Tong and Kowloon East, I believe Mr. Chong can provide more information. As for safety belts, at this moment, we are consulting different stakeholders and see if there are any opportunities for improvement. And going forward, we will continue to discuss with the Bureau, and we will come back to the committee with more information. Mr. Chong, regarding the test and trial project in Kwun Tong. The trial went very smoothly. Now, the project is still in phase 1, meaning with a backup driver operator in the car with 1,500 kilometers. There were no accidents. It's good to know there were no accidents, but as for the mileage, as for the test time, have you looked into them after the trial test? For example, would it be not advisable to have trial in early morning? Any updates? No, there is no requirement. There is no demand from the public regarding reducing the test duration. Thank you. Next, Mr. Sunny Tam. Thank you, Chair. First, I speak in support of the retention of the time-limited directorial post. And as a disclaimer, I'm the chairman of New Forces, and we have a center for advanced energy and transportation. It was previously named as a center for smart centers, smart transportation centers. We worked with the government in smart transportation systems and intelligent bus and minibus systems, etc. In this process, we had first-hand experience of Hong Kong with a special urban environment. So that's exactly why we need a professional I mean, with the government and also the productivity council, we see that Hong Kong is a special city given the dense population, and that's the reason we support this proposal. We looked at the safety data and application of autonomous driving technology, but I'm wondering if there are any specific measures, because it all comes down to safety data if you need to give peace of mind to the public. Any updates on that? Commissioner, please. Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Mr. Tan, for the question. I believe the Productivity Council has been working closely with the administration, providing innovative technology and improving on road safety. You are spot on in saying that safety data are important. When I was responding to Kingsley Wong's question, I mentioned that thanks to technology, there are better applications of transport technology on the road, but I agree that safety matters. Therefore, every month we receive safety data from the pilot plan. And as Mr. Tan said, would there be any mileage specific number, and what's the duration of the test? But I agree that safety data are most important. We cannot continue with the next phase of test and trial projects without reaching safety objectives. For example, if there are abnormalities with let's say 5,000 kilometers, and they need to report the data to us. Yes, we're talking about 5G data, but these are relevant when it comes to avoidance of road accidents. Perhaps the vehicles have to reduce speed automatically, or the automatic vehicles we need to pull over on the roadside. These factors are very important to Hong Kong as a densely populated city, because easily it will cause traffic congestion. With this information, we can form a system of big data. Now we have parallel trial projects going on, so we can put together the data and analyze them, so we can understand in which scenarios this safety technology can be applied, so we can improve on these trial tests, so that these tests can be translated into new safety standards. Before I invite the next member to speak, I declare that the meeting be extended for 15 minutes so we can take all the questions. Next, Mr. Elizabeth Quat. I speak in support of this position. I know Hong Kong has been developing autonomous driving technology for many years, but there have been many trials going on. But I agree that we should develop that, but this pace is rather slow. Recently, I visited a pilot project for autonomous driving in Suzhou. In the past, we relied on in-vehicle facilities, for example, cameras sensing the road situation in autonomous vehicles. But we feel that Hong Kong should have its own 3D map, but it cannot be that detailed to lane level. But I think maybe a new direction could be that we have less cameras in vehicles. However, we should have more radar sensors or roadside sensing facilities or cameras on roadside. so that we don't have to transform and retrofit every vehicle, so we can use multiple data sources to locate the vehicle. Using this technology will make it possible for us to control every car, making them autonomous driving vehicles. I believe this new direction is worth considering. So rather than transforming all the vehicles to autonomous vehicles, we can use new roadside technologies to achieve the same target. I believe more research can be made in this regard. We hope that there will be more development of autonomous driving technology in the future.
其實咧，
In relation to the application of bus technology, we do think that public transportation should switch to new energy. But the pace is rather slow when it comes to buses because charging is slow. So you have to replace each diesel bus with 1.5 electric buses. So there is not much incentive. Hydrogen fuel cell bus requires a shorter time in charging. But firstly, there is no such bus in Hong Kong. And secondly, it's a high cost. We're talking about $8 million a bus. The post under the proposals related to bus technologies, it will liaise with bus operators as well. We hope that in the future there will be a chance to use hydrogen fuel cell buses. There are not many places in the world that use double-decker buses. Perhaps we need to talk to manufacturers to see if there will be a reduced cost to have double-decker buses using new energy to be produced for use in Hong Kong. There are questions on two areas. Commissioner, Ms. Kwok asked about a possible reduction in operating cost, thereby benefiting the public. We will work on this. Autonomous driving for buses, of course, we would like the speed to be higher. We are confident that some pilot projects will be put to actual use to carry passengers. We hope that in Hong Kong, Macau Bridge, Hong Kong Port, and the Airport Island, there will be remote control of autonomous vehicles. That means there won't be any on-board backup operators, and these services will be passenger carrying. The member asked about new development directions. Say, for example, buses AVs don't have to be installed with numerous cameras on board. Instead, cameras and sensors will be placed along the road. We already have a system of street lights being used. It may not be desirable to add to it. But regarding new development areas, say for example Northern Metropolis, we can plan ahead so that new parts can be added to the facilities. This hopefully will expedite the development of autonomous driving. All the questions are done. I now put the item to vote. Those in favor of item EC 2026-27 number 4, please raise your hands. Thank you. Those who are against, please raise your hands. I think members who have voted by majority voted for this item. The item is endorsed. In relation to further discussion by the FC now, under paragraph 48 of the subcommittee procedure, I put the item to the vote. This subcommittee recommends further discussion by the Finance Committee of EC 2026-27 number 4. Let me remind members, if this motion is carried, that means we recommend further discussion by the Finance Committee. If this is vetoed, it means that the subcommittee does not recommend further discussions. Those who are in favor, please raise your hands. Those against, please raise your hands. Thank you. I think majority of members who have voted opposed to the motion. So the subcommittee does not recommend further discussion on the proposal in EC 2627 number 4 by the Finance Committee. That's the end of this meeting. The next meeting will take place at 8:30 on the 27th of May this year. Thank you.